Welcome to the Hidden Wealth Coins. What if a single old wheat penny hiding in your drawer could be worth more than a luxury car or even a house? These tiny 1-cent coins from the 1930s, 1940s, and 1950s are not just pocket change. Some rare varieties and flawless conditions have shocked collectors with unbelievable prices. One small minting mistake, one perfect preserved coin, and your ordinary penny could turn into an extraordinary fortune. First up, imagine reaching into an old jar of coins and pulling out a simple brown penny that looks ordinary at first glance, but that tiny piece of copper could be worth tens of thousands, even hundreds of thousands of dollars. The 1955 wheat penny is one of the most legendary coins in American history, and under the right condition, it has sold for prices that feel unbelievable. This is not just a coin. It is a mistake turned into a masterpiece, a small accident that created one of the most valuable 1-cent coins ever produced in the United States. The coin we are talking about belongs to the famous wheat penny series, officially known as the Lincoln Wheat Cent. This design was first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln. It was the first regular U.S. coin to feature a real historical person instead of a symbolic figure. On the front, you see Lincoln's portrait facing right. On the back, 2 wheat stalks curve along the sides, giving the coin its popular nickname, Wheat Penny. From 1909 to 1958, millions and billions were minted, but among them, a few rare dates became treasures. Now let's focus on the year 1955. In that year, the United States Mint produced millions of normal 1955 pennies. Most of them are common and worth only a small premium over face value. But something unusual happened during production. A small number of coins were struck with a dramatic error that would shock collectors for decades. This error is what turned an ordinary 1955 penny into a coin that can sell for life-changing money. The famous variety is known as the 1955 double-die obverse. In simple words, the design on the front of the coin was accidentally doubled during the die creation process. When you look at this rare coin, you can clearly see strong doubling on the words, Liberty, In God We Trust, and especially on the date 1955. The doubling is bold and visible to the naked eye. It is not a tiny blur. It looks almost like the letters were printed twice slightly offset. This dramatic visual effect made the coin instantly recognizable. What makes this error so powerful is not just the mistake itself, but how clear and obvious it is. Many coin errors require magnification to detect, but the 1955 double die can be seen without a microscope. Even beginners can notice something strange. Because of this, collectors quickly fell in love with it. It became one of the most talked about error coins in American numismatic history. The number of these error coins released into circulation was relatively small compared to normal production. Although thousands exist, that is nothing compared to the hundreds of millions of regular pennies struck that year. Scarcity creates demand, and demand creates value. Over time, as more collectors searched for high-grade examples, prices continued to rise. Condition plays a massive role in determining value. A heavily worn 1955 double-die penny might sell for several $1,000s, but when the coin is in extremely fine or uncirculated condition, the price jumps dramatically. In top mint-state grades, especially those with bright red original color, auction results have reached well into 6 figures. Some exceptional specimens have approached or exceeded the $100,000 range, depending on eye appeal and grading. It is important to understand that not every 1955 wheat penny is valuable. The regular 1955 penny without doubling is common. Many people think every 1955 coin is worth a fortune, but that is not true. Only the specific double-die obverse variety carries the legendary price tag. This is why careful examination is critical. If the letters and date do not show strong doubling, it is likely just a normal coin. The metal composition of the 1955 wheat penny is primarily copper, made before the composition change that happened in the 1980s. These earlier copper coins have a solid feel and a rich brown or reddish tone. Collectors often categorize them by color brown, red-brown, and red. The fully red examples with original mint luster are the most desirable and command the highest premiums. Another factor that increases value is certification. When a rare 1955 double die is authenticated and graded by a professional grading service, buyers feel more confident. A certified coin with a high mint state grade can bring extraordinary auction results. Serious collectors compete fiercely for top examples because they understand how iconic this coin is in the hobby. Over the decades, this coin has built a reputation that goes beyond its metal content. It represents the power of minting errors and how human imperfection can create incredible financial opportunity. Stories of people finding this coin in pocket change during the 1950s and 1960s have become legendary. Imagine buying a candy for 1 cent and receiving a coin in change that would one day be worth thousands. The idea of becoming a billionaire overnight with a single penny is dramatic, but the truth is still exciting. While most examples will not make someone a billionaire, they absolutely have the power to change someone's financial situation. A high-grade 1955 double die could pay off debts, fund education, or invest in a business. That is life-changing for many people. If you ever come across a 1955 wheat penny, examine it carefully under good lighting. Look closely at the date and the lettering. If you see strong, clear doubling that looks like two images slightly separated, you may be holding one of the most famous era coins ever made. Do not clean it. Cleaning can destroy value instantly. Keep it safe and have it professionally evaluated. In the world of coin collecting, few coins combine history, visible drama, rarity, and high value like the 1955 double die wheat penny. It is a symbol of how something small and overlooked can carry enormous hidden worth. That tiny copper coin created more than 70 years ago continues to inspire collectors and treasure hunters around the world. And somewhere out there, it may still be waiting quietly in an old box, a forgotten drawer, or a family coin jar, ready to change someone's fortune in a single moment. Second up. Imagine holding a simple 1948 wheat penny in your hand, a small copper coin that most people would ignore without a second thought. At first glance, it looks ordinary, just another 1-cent piece from the past. But hidden within this date is the possibility of surprising value, especially if the coin is in exceptional condition or carries a rare characteristic. While not every 1948 wheat penny is worth a fortune, certain examples have sold for impressive amounts, and understanding why can completely change how you look at this humble coin. The 1948 penny belongs to the famous Lincoln Wheat Cent series, one of the most collected coin designs in American history. The obverse features the profile of Abraham Lincoln, a design that first appeared in 1909 and continued for decades. On the reverse, two elegant wheat stalks frame the words 1 cent and United States of America. This design carries a classic vintage feel that instantly connects collectors to the early and mid-20th century. In 1948, the United States Mint produced pennies at multiple mint locations. You will find coins with no mint mark, as well as coins marked with a small D for Denver and an S for San Francisco. Most of these coins were struck in large quantities, meaning they are generally common in circulated grades. However, common does not mean worthless. The real magic begins when condition and rarity come together. The majority of circulated 1948 wheat pennies are worth only a small premium over face value. But when you step into the world of high-grade uncirculated coins, the story changes dramatically. A 1948 penny that has never been used in commerce, that still shines with original mint luster and shows no signs of wear, can command significantly higher prices. Collectors compete fiercely for coins that look as if they were struck yesterday. The most valuable examples are those graded in top mint state conditions, especially those with full original red color. Copper coins naturally darken over time, turning brown. When a 1948 penny retains its bright reddish glow, it becomes far more desirable. In top certified grades, especially for the 1948's issue which had a lower mintage compared to some others, auction results have reached thousands of dollars. While not in the multi-million-dollar range like some ultra-rare errors, the best examples still carry serious financial weight. What truly excites collectors about the 1948 wheat penny is the possibility of rare varieties and errors. Sometimes coins are struck with subtle doubling, repunched mint marks, or other small minting anomalies. These varieties can dramatically increase value if confirmed and authenticated. A sharp-eyed collector who discovers an overlooked variety could be holding something far more valuable than a standard issue coin. Condition is everything. A heavily worn 1948 penny with scratches, discoloration, or cleaning damage will remain low in value. On the other hand, a coin that has sharp details in Lincoln's hair, crisp lettering, and untouched surfaces can multiply in price quickly. Even tiny differences in grade can mean hundreds or even thousands of dollars in value difference. This is why professional grading and careful preservation are so important. It is also important to understand that cleaning a coin can instantly destroy its value. Many beginners make the mistake of polishing old copper to make it shine. Unfortunately, this removes the original surface and reduces collector demand. A naturally aged coin with honest patina is far more valuable than a shiny but damaged one. If you ever suspect you have a high-grade 1948 penny, keep it exactly as it is. The metal composition of the 1948 wheat penny is primarily copper, giving it weight and a distinctive sound when gently handled. These coins were made before the composition changes of later decades, which adds to their nostalgic and historical appeal. Holding one feels like holding a small piece of post-World War II America, a time of rebuilding and economic transformation. Although stories of becoming a billionaire overnight from a single 1948 penny are exaggerated, the coin absolutely has the power to surprise. A top-condition 1948s in superb mint state red can sell for substantial amounts at auction. While it may not reach millions under normal circumstances, exceptional eye appeal and rarity within high grades can push prices into impressive territory that many would never expect from a 1-cent coin. Collectors value the 1948 wheat penny not just for its potential price, but for its place in history. It represents a transitional era in the United States, just a few years after the end of World War II. Coins from this period circulated during a time of economic growth, cultural change, and industrial expansion. That historical connection adds emotional value beyond money. If you ever find a 1948 wheat penny, examine it carefully under strong lighting. Look for sharp detail, original red color, and any unusual doubling or mint mark features. If the coin appears exceptional, consider having it evaluated by a professional grading service. Authentication can unlock its full market potential and give buyers confidence in its quality. The key lesson is this: not every old penny is life-changing, but some have remarkable potential. The 1948 wheat penny proves that even common dates can become valuable treasures in extraordinary condition. It is a reminder that small things can carry hidden opportunity. That quiet copper coin resting in a jar or tucked away in a drawer might not make you a billionaire overnight, but in the right condition, it could absolutely be worth far more than 1 cent and far more than you ever imagined. Third up, picture this for a moment: a tiny copper coin dated 1951, resting quietly in an old jar, completely ignored for decades. To most people, it is just a 1-cent piece, something too small to even bend down and pick up. But in the world of serious collectors, the right 1951 wheat penny in the right condition can transform from pocket change into a powerful financial asset. The excitement does not come from the date alone, but from rarity within condition, mint mark, and extraordinary preservation. The 1951 issue belongs to the legendary Lincoln Wheat Cent series, one of the most iconic coin designs ever struck in the United States. On the front, the calm and dignified profile of Abraham Lincoln faces right, symbolizing strength and unity. On the reverse, 2 wheat stalks frame the denomination, giving the coin its famous wheat penny nickname. By 1951, this design had already been in circulation for over 40 years, yet it still carried strong collector appeal. In 1951, pennies were produced at multiple mint facilities, including Philadelphia with no mint mark, Denver with a small D, and San Francisco with an S. While millions were struck, not all 1951 pennies are created equal. Most circulated examples are common and affordable. However, the story changes completely when you enter the world of high-grade mint state coins and rare varieties. The 1951's wheat penny is often considered the key focus among collectors for that year. Although its mintage was not extremely tiny, finding it in flawless condition is surprisingly difficult. Many 1951's coins were weakly struck, meaning the details, especially in Lincoln's hair and the wheat stalks, may appear soft. Because of this, sharply struck examples in top condition are much rarer than raw production numbers suggest. Condition is the true king when it comes to value. A worn 1951 penny that has been used in daily transactions for years may only be worth a small premium. But a coin that has never been circulated, that still shines with original mint luster and fiery red copper color, can command significantly higher prices. Collectors pay extraordinary premiums for coins graded at the very top of the mint state scale, especially those labeled as full red. Copper is a sensitive metal. Over time, it darkens and turns brown. A 1951 wheat penny that retains its bright red glow more than 70 years later is a survivor. It means the coin was carefully stored, protected from air, moisture, and handling. In elite grades with strong eye appeal, some 1951's pennies have reached impressive auction prices, sometimes climbing into 5 figures depending on certification and demand. Beyond condition, collectors also search for varieties. Certain 1951 pennies display repunched mint marks, where the mint mark was struck more than once in slightly different positions. These small details can dramatically increase value if clearly visible and authenticated. There are also minor double-die varieties that attract attention from specialists who study every detail under magnification. The dream of finding $1 million 1951 wheat penny is exciting, but reality must be understood clearly. Standard 1951 pennies do not sell for millions. However, the combination of top population rarity, flawless surfaces, and strong collector demand can push values much higher than most people expect from a 1-cent coin. In the coin market, the highest graded examples often bring record-breaking results simply because so few exist. One of the biggest mistakes new collectors make is cleaning their coins. Polishing a 1951 penny to make it shine can permanently damage its surface and reduce its value dramatically. Original surfaces are everything. Even small hairlines, scratches, or unnatural brightness can lower the grade. If you believe you have a high-quality example, leave it untouched and consider professional evaluation. The historical background of the 1951 wheat penny also adds to its charm. America in 1951 was experiencing post-war growth and entering a new era of industrial expansion. These pennies passed through the hands of workers, families, and businesses during a time of transformation. Holding one today feels like touching a small piece of mid-century American life. Market demand also plays a powerful role. When collector interest rises, prices for top-condition coins rise with it. The 1951's in superb red mint state is particularly desirable because truly flawless examples are scarce. When two serious collectors compete for the same high-grade coin at auction, prices can escalate quickly, sometimes reaching levels that surprise even experienced observers. It is important to check every 1951 penny carefully. Look for sharp detail in Lincoln's hair and beard, strong lines in the wheat stalks, and vibrant original color. Examine the mint mark closely for signs of repunching or unusual placement. A small detail can make a massive difference in value. What looks ordinary at first glance may carry hidden potential. While becoming a billionaire overnight from a single 1951 wheat penny is more of a dramatic dream than a common reality, the coin absolutely has the power to surprise and reward careful collectors. A top-tier, certified, brilliantly preserved 1951's wheat penny can be worth thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars. That is an incredible return for a coin that once bought a piece of candy. It proves that sometimes, unimaginable opportunity can hide inside the smallest and most overlooked pieces of history. Fourth up. Imagine discovering a simple 1944 wheat penny in an old collection, its surface worn slightly by time, yet carrying a date that could unlock one of the most dramatic treasure stories in American coin history. At first glance, a 1944 penny looks completely ordinary. Millions upon millions were made, and most are still worth only a few cents. But hidden within that year is one of the most legendary rarities ever produced, a coin so rare that it has sold for astonishing amounts and continues to shock collectors around the world. The 1944 issue belongs to the iconic Lincoln Wheat Cent series, featuring the portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the front and 2 wheat stalks on the reverse. By 1944, the United States was deep in the middle of World War II. Just 1 year earlier, in 1943, pennies had been made from zinc-coated steel to save copper for the war effort. But in 1944, the mint returned to copper-based composition using recycled shell casings from the battlefield. That alone gives the 1944 penny powerful historical importance. Most 1944 wheat pennies are made of copper and are common. They were struck in huge numbers at Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. In circulated condition, they usually carry modest value. Even in uncirculated red mint state condition, they are desirable, but not typically worth millions. However, the true magic of 1944 lies in a rare and extraordinary mistake. A tiny number of 1944 pennies were accidentally struck on leftover steel planchettes from 1943. This created the famous 1944 steel wheat penny, one of the rarest and most valuable era coins in American history. Instead of the normal copper color, these coins appear silver gray like the 1943 steel cents. They are magnetic and dramatically different from regular 1944 issues. Only a very small number are known to exist. Because of their extreme rarity, authentic 1944 steel pennies have sold for staggering prices. In high-grade condition, auction results have reached into the hundreds of thousands of dollars, and in exceptional cases, even higher. These coins are not common mistakes. They are once-in-a-generation discoveries. When one appears in the market, collectors and investors compete fiercely. The value of a 1944 steel wheat penny depends heavily on condition. A circulated example with wear is still incredibly valuable because of its rarity, but an uncirculated specimen with sharp details and strong surfaces can command breathtaking prices. Certification and authentication are absolutely critical, as counterfeits and altered coins exist. Only verified genuine examples achieve record-breaking sales. There is also another fascinating variety, the 1944 D, S, and 1944's D overmint mark varieties. These occurred when a mint mark was struck over another mint mark, creating a visible layered effect. While not worth millions like the steel era, these varieties still attract strong premiums and collector excitement. Sharp examples in high grade can sell for impressive amounts. For regular copper 1944 wheat pennies, condition still matters enormously. A common 1944 penny in worn condition may only be worth a small premium, but a blazing red flawless mint state example can reach significant prices, especially if it is graded at the very top levels. The difference between an average coin and a near-perfect one can mean thousands of dollars. If you believe you have a 1944 penny that looks unusual, a simple magnet test can be revealing. A normal copper penny will not stick to a magnet. A genuine 1944 steel penny will, however. Caution is necessary. Some altered coins are made by plating steel cents with copper or modifying dates. Professional evaluation is essential before making any conclusions about value. The dream of becoming a billionaire overnight from a 1944 penny is dramatic storytelling, but the truth remains powerful. A genuine 1944 steel cent has the ability to change someone's financial life. Stories of people discovering rare coins in inherited collections or forgotten jars are part of what keeps collectors searching every day. The possibility, however small, keeps hope alive. Beyond value, the 1944 wheat penny carries deep historical symbolism. It represents a nation at war, a shift in metal composition, and the resilience of industry. The recycled copper from shell casings transformed tools of conflict into everyday currency. That powerful transformation adds emotional depth to the coin's story. Preservation is everything. Cleaning a 1944 penny, especially a potentially rare steel example, can instantly destroy its value. Original surfaces, even if slightly toned or aged, are far more desirable than polished shine. If you suspect rarity, handle the coin carefully by the edges and store it in a protective holder. Today, collectors continue to hunt for the legendary 1944 steel era. While extremely rare, a few examples are confirmed to exist from different mint facilities. When one surfaces at auction, it captures headlines and reignites excitement throughout the coin community. It serves as a reminder that extraordinary mistakes sometimes slip through even the most controlled production systems. The 1944 wheat penny proves that a 1-cent coin can carry enormous hidden potential. While most examples are modest in value, the rare steel era stands as one of the most famous treasures in American numismatics. It may not turn everyone into a billionaire overnight, but for the lucky individual who discovers a genuine example, it can absolutely become a life-changing piece of history. Fifth up! Imagine holding a small 1935 wheat penny between your fingers, a coin that once moved through the hands of Americans during the Great Depression. At first glance, it may seem like nothing more than an old copper cent worn by time and circulation, but under the right circumstances, in the right condition, and with the right characteristics, this humble 1935 penny can become far more than pocket change. While not every 1935 wheat penny is worth a fortune, certain examples can command surprisingly strong prices and spark intense excitement among collectors. The 1935 issue belongs to the legendary Lincoln Wheat Cent series, one of the most recognizable and collected coin designs in American history. The front of the coin features the dignified portrait of Abraham Lincoln, while the reverse displays 2 wheat stalks framing the denomination. By 1935, this design had already been circulating for over 25 years, becoming a familiar and trusted symbol of American currency. In 1935, pennies were struck at Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Coins from Philadelphia carry no mint mark, while Denver coins show a D, and San Francisco coins and CEN production numbers were substantial, meaning most 1935 pennies are common in circulated grades. However, the story shifts dramatically when we focus on exceptional condition and rare varieties. That is where real value begins to grow. A typical worn 1935 wheat penny might only be worth a modest premium over its face value. But when you discover one in uncirculated condition, especially with strong original mint luster and minimal marks, the value increases significantly. Copper coins from the 1930s often darkened over time, so examples that still display vibrant red color are much scarcer. Collectors categorize these coins by color, and full red specimens are the most desirable. The 1935's wheat penny often attracts special attention in higher grades. While not the rarest date in the series, sharply struck and fully red examples from San Francisco can bring impressive prices at auction. In the highest certified mint state grades, values can climb into thousands of dollars. The difference between an average uncirculated coin and a near-perfect one can mean a dramatic jump in price. Condition is everything in the coin market. A coin with crisp detail in Lincoln's hair, sharp lettering, and smooth original surfaces will always command more respect than one with scratches, dullness, or cleaning damage. Even tiny imperfections can lower a grade and reduce value. That is why top-grade 1935 pennies are far rarer than raw mintage numbers suggest. Beyond condition, collectors also search for varieties, such as double dyes or repunched mint marks. While major dramatic errors are not widely associated with 1935 like some other famous dates, minor varieties do exist and can bring strong premiums when authenticated. A keen eye and magnification can sometimes reveal hidden details that increase desirability. The dream of finding $1 million 1935 wheat penny is powerful and exciting. In reality, standard examples do not reach into the millions. However, in the coin market, extraordinary condition combined with extreme rarity within top populations can create record-setting sales. When a coin is among the very finest known examples, collectors may compete fiercely, pushing prices much higher than most people expect. The metal composition of the 1935 wheat penny is primarily copper, giving it a solid weight and warm tone. Holding one feels like touching a piece of history from a challenging economic era. These coins circulated during the heart of the Great Depression, passing through markets, shops, and households at a time when every cent truly mattered. That historical depth adds emotional value to the coin beyond its monetary worth. If you ever find a 1935 penny, examine it under strong light. Look for original red color, strong strike detail, and untouched surfaces. Avoid cleaning it no matter how tempting it may be to make it shine. Cleaning removes the natural surface and can instantly destroy collector value. A naturally toned coin is far more desirable than one that has been polished. Professional grading can dramatically impact value. A certified high-grade 1935 wheat penny offers confidence to buyers and often sells for more than a raw coin. The highest graded examples, especially those with exceptional eye appeal, can bring surprising auction results because serious collectors seek the best of the best. Although becoming a billionaire overnight from a 1935 wheat penny is more fantasy than reality, the coin absolutely carries the power to surprise. A flawless, fully red top population example could be worth thousands or even more in the right market environment. For a coin that once represented just 1 cent, that is an extraordinary transformation. The 1935 wheat penny reminds us that value is not always about age alone, but about rarity within quality. While millions were made, only a tiny fraction survive today in truly exceptional condition. That scarcity at the highest levels creates demand, and demand drives price. In the end, the 1935 wheat penny stands as a symbol of hidden potential. It may look small and ordinary, but under the right conditions, it becomes a sought-after collectible with real financial strength. It proves that sometimes the smallest coins can carry stories of resilience, history, and opportunity, and in rare cases, the power to change someone's financial future in ways they never imagined.